Hey beloveds, I wanted to do a topic that's kind of around health and fitness, since I'm kind of like on this 60-day challenge right now. I did my first month already, and now I'm shifting things up on my second month, um, where I'm focusing a little bit more on the weight training than the spin classes, because that's what was suggested to me. And I just thought I would pass on everything I'm learning from my friends and the trainer that I'm going to be seeing twice, I guess, just to kind of get me started. So I've learned quite a bit in this month and wanted to pass it on because, once you know, then you can use it for the rest of your life. And, part of me wishes I had known this stuff before, but, everything comes at just the right time, I trust. So there's just all these layers of it that I'm learning, and there's all these little tweaks and stuff that are interesting. So I started out by doing double classes, like spin class and then doing weight training after in the form of a class or just at the gym itself. And I just wanted to, kind of like go gung-ho and like get back in the groove, and, in the new year and after the holidays, everyone feels kind of a little heavier and whatnot. So, and luckily I have some friends at the beach, because many of you know that I'm a regular part of the community at the famous nude beaches here in Kihei in Maui. And they're really into weight training, or they've got trainers or whatever. And I was talking to one, thank you Tracy, for, she said, well, how many spin classes are you doing a week? And I said 5, and she's like, yeah, that's really more than you need. That's too much, and you're going to get more results doing weights than the spin classes. And if you want to do a few a week, that's fine, but you're going to get better results this other way. And so anyway, I started that today. I did a bunch of weights and a bunch of new machines that I don't normally have time to do. I totally understand her concept around the fact that, there's only so much energy or bandwidth you have after a spin class to do the weights. Whereas I did notice today when I went hardcore on the weights, I was kind of doing it a little bit in a cardio way, where I'm breathing a lot. And then I was, I kind of hit my limit, and I was aware of that. Like, yeah, I feel done, because it's yeah, it's kind of hardcore, right? And I was definitely doing heavier weights than I've ever done before, and thank God for my patches that help me, because the carnosine one patch is the one that helps me recover better, and also helps my performance on a higher level as well. It's what the Olympians used to break their personal records, and they were the first ones that had first dibs on it, these patches. And anyway, they're helping. So I know that eating was a big part of what I had to shift, because God, I look back now and think, oh my God, I was so not eating enough protein at all. And I even, went through COVID. I went through like a vegan stage, and I totally respect that and honor it. And I can see all these different perspectives of how to eat or work out. I can see them all as valuable, and, I can see the pros and cons of each one. And I think part of my experience is to experience all of them and then see what works best for my body, because we all are different body types and blood types, and so you have to keep that in mind. It's not one size fits all. So anyway, I'm on the segment of that right now where I'm focusing on weights, and I'm focusing on eating way more protein, because otherwise the muscle just won't stick, or build. It's just interesting, though, how I have to really consciously make sure I'm getting enough of that protein, because for me, for some reason, it's not like natural for me to eat that much protein. And I'm not a big protein advocate either as far as meat goes, but I'm doing it in the most conscious way I know how. So what I learned is that no wonder I was so sore and having a hard time recovering whenever I would do weights in the past, because I was doing it on an empty stomach first thing in the morning with no like support fuel to, and then it would curb my appetite, and then I wouldn't feel like eating until a couple hours later, and then it's too late and your body's like hurting. My body was hurting. And so I've learned a few things around that, which is I do have like an amino acid powder that I put in my hot tea. It happens to be like a mocha flavored one, so it works really well. So that I am getting amino acids in like right away when I'm drinking. That's all I'm doing is drinking. I'm not eating anything, because that's the Ayurvedic way of like burning fat that you already have, as opposed to using the food that you're putting in your body in the morning before the workout. So that's one way I'm getting that protein in there. Then after the workout, after the weights, and in the past month it was between classes, I've made sure I got protein in me. So what I'm doing is, from Costco, apparently shrimp is really high in protein, and when I looked at the package I was like, wow, that's impressive, because I think it was like 9 shrimp is like 18 grams of protein. So it's pretty easy because they're snack size, right? And I just put a handful of them in a baggie and bring it with me. And then I often eat that in the sauna, actually, after I'm done with my workout. And then like today I had one of the Quest bars with it because I was still hungry and wanted to support my body. So I had some lemon flavored one. Here in Maui, you can only get it at Target. They're like $2 a bar, but it's like a complete meal because it's anywhere from 15 to 21 grams of protein per bar, which is pretty impressive. It has a lot of fiber in it, especially, and which makes it stand apart. And then there's all that protein, which is in the form of whey mostly, and it's low sugar carb index. Okay, so you can order them on Amazon too. There's tons of flavors. Unfortunately, they're quite sweet, but in order to get, most of them are like 20 grams of protein, and if you're going to have that much in a bar, you're going to need to probably sweeten it for it to taste decent. So it's really convenient to have those bars like immediately after the workout, or and so it's easy for me to eat that like in the sauna when I'm doing my hydrotherapy, where I go hot sauna, cold shower, hot sauna, cold shower. So I'm getting it in that way. And then today, after the weights and doing the hydrotherapy, I went and did my beach walk, because it's a really nice way to finish off the workout in a way, but it's milder, it's in nature. I've already gotten that, kind of had that meal, and I guess it's sort of a form of cardio in a way, and it's kind of like a reward even. And so anyway, that's what I like to do here in Maui. And then when I come home, I have a real meal, like with real food. Like today I had this cauliflower crust pizza that had protein on it. And then I also picked up, I asked my friend who I know has chickens, and I said, I want to buy some eggs from you, because if I'm going to eat eggs, they need to be farm fresh and wild, because I learned that according to the medical medium, that eggs actually irritate the vaccines that we took as a child, and they kind of exacerbate that situation where we all have a little bit of Epstein-Barr, and I don't know the exact specifics, but I know enough there to make me want to do it right. So He also said that eggs and chickens were like GMO'd a long time ago, and so it messes with it too. And it just irritates that part of our system, like I said, that he said it's just don't do it. So I figure, well, if I do it with farm fresh eggs that, haven't been GMO'd and they're being treated well, and it's more like they're off the grid and they're out of the matrix. That I know that eggs in general really do tend to take care of me because they're high in the protein and they have fat too. They also build the adrenals, which is kind of important. And they tend to kind of be like a meal replacement for me, because it's like if I'm hungry, but if I have a hard-boiled egg, boom, I feel fine. So now I'm going to be able to add eggs in there, which is really great, because otherwise I'm using, oh, by the way, I often will have a protein smoothie after the workout as well, if I need to. So I'm getting the protein through smoothies, and actually the Costco has these Orgain chocolate smoothies that have, it's like this tall, and it's 20 grams of protein. So I usually just like add that into the leftover tea that I have and drink that after the workout. So I'm getting it that way. I'm getting it through the bars. I'm getting it through the shrimp. I'm getting it through the, any other protein sources that I use. Like I added, normally I wouldn't eat cottage cheese, but cottage cheese is kind of an unusual one where it's high in protein. It has some kind of slow release protein effect on the body that's important, like especially like right before you go to bed, because it builds the body overnight, because of its tendency to process that way. I also remember watching reading the 4-Hour Body, who's the same author as the 4-Hour Work Week. And he did a lot of research on his own body and had a lot of really good suggestions as to how to go about working out and eating and weight loss and all that. And he said cottage cheese is different from other dairy, so it's kind of okay. Naturally, you don't want to overdo anything, and to me it's kind of nice because it's a very different texture than meat and typical proteins. And I usually add a little bit of fruit in there, and actually if you mix flax in there, like in the form of squirting the oil in there, or flax meal, they actually feed that to cancer patients and patients who have serious illnesses, because there's something about the combination of the flax with the cottage cheese that is really good for your body. I forget what it is, but at any rate, just another little tip that most people don't know. So I do it that way, and I just make sure I don't have more than one carton, a day. And a lot of times before bed, or if it feels more like a breakfasty type item too, as compared to like meat right away when you get up. So I'm using that. Fish and salmon. I am a steak eater too. I don't really buy it, but when I go out, I'll get it, and my body is like, thank you. What else do I tend to rely on? Yeah, like I'll get like beef hot dogs and stuff like that. Anyway, I just thought I would share that because I have learned those things recently, and I'm kind of just doing all these little tweaks that are all making quite a difference, because I just wasn't eating enough protein before, and I wasn't eating it right after the workout like I was supposed to. And it's like, no wonder I was like, kind of like the next day I would just feel like shit, and kind of be like, it would take me out for a day, and I'd be really tired because my body was trying to recover and all that. And I'm not having those issues, especially because I do the hydrotherapy too, which really is helpful because it's getting the blood to flow in and out and really heal itself faster, which is cool. So anyway, I hope that helps you if you're in some kind of regiment and you want to take it to the next level. I'll continue to share what I'm learning and getting out of it, and we can grow together.